Life is full of unexpected twists and turns. Along the way, there are lessons you won't find in textbooks, and no one will sit you down to explain them. These lessons are often harsh, but they shape you, build resilience, and force you to rise stronger than before. Today, I want to share 12 brutal life lessons that nobody teaches you, but once you learn them, you'll never see life the same way again. Life is unfair, and it won't apologize. The sooner you understand that life doesn't owe you fairness, the better off you'll be. Bad things happen to good people. Hard work doesn't always pay off the way you expect. It's not about deserving, it's about surviving and thriving despite the odds. Not everyone will like you. No matter how kind or talented you are, you won't be everyone's cup of tea. Trying to please everyone will only drain you. Stand firm in who you are and let your true tribe find you. Success comes with sacrifice. Behind every success story is a list of sacrifices that few talk about. Sleep, relationships, comfort, these are all things that can be traded on the path to greatness. The question is, how much are you willing to sacrifice for what you want? Failure is not the end. Nobody tells you how essential failure is to success. Failure is a detour, not a dead end. Each time you fall, it's an opportunity to learn, to get better, and to approach your goal with more wisdom. Time is your most valuable asset. You can earn more money, but you can't make more time. Every minute wasted is a minute you can never get back. Prioritize your time like it's the most precious thing you have, because it is. Your comfort zone is a trap. Comfort is the enemy of growth. It feels good to stay where you are, doing what you know, but nothing extraordinary happens in the comfort zone. Real growth begins when you push yourself beyond what feels safe. You're going to lose people along the way as you evolve. Not everyone will come with you. Some friendships and relationships will naturally fade. This is painful but necessary. Growth sometimes requires letting go of those who no longer align with the person you're becoming. Talent isn't enough. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if you don't put in the work, that talent is wasted. Hard work, discipline, and consistency will outshine raw talent every single time. Happiness is an inside job. You won't find happiness in external things, money, relationships, or material possessions. True happiness comes from within. It's a state of mind that no amount of external validation can fulfill. Life doesn't wait for you to be ready. There's never a perfect time to start. Life doesn't wait for you to feel ready, confident, or secure. The right time is now. Start before you're ready and learn along the way. No one is coming to save you. You are responsible for your own life. No one is going to come and rescue you from your circumstances. If you want change, you have to make it happen. Gratitude is power in a world that constantly tells you to want more. Gratitude for what you already have is a superpower. It shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. And that's when true blessings flow. Life isn't always going to treat you fairly. That's a fact we all face, whether we like it or not. But here's the thing, you don't have the luxury of wasting time feeling sorry for yourself. Too many people get caught up in the idea that life should be fair, that their hard work, their good deeds, their kindness will somehow guarantee them an easy ride. But reality doesn't work that way. Life isn't a straight line where effort equals reward, and the sooner you accept that, the sooner you can start thriving in it. You're going to face situations where you do everything right, and it still goes wrong. You'll see people cut corners and still end up ahead. It's going to feel like no matter how much heart, sweat, and soul you pour into something, the universe doesn't seem to care. But that's when you have a choice. You can let it break you, or you can use it to fuel you. Because here's the truth, if you let the unfairness of life beat you down, you've already lost. But if you learn to stand tall in the face of it, you've already won. Unfairness is part of the test. It's not here to make you quit. It's here to see how bad you really want it. When things don't go your way, that's not the moment to shrink back. It's the moment to dig deeper. When you feel like life is being unfair, don't take it as a sign to give up. Take it as a challenge, a call to rise. A reminder that you are stronger than the circumstances trying to hold you down. You see, the world isn't going to bend to your will just because you're doing everything right. You've got to learn to move with the punches, to adapt, to get creative. Sometimes you've got to take the longer road. Sometimes you've got to work twice as hard to get half as far. And that's fine, because the real victory comes in how you handle that journey, in the grit and the perseverance you develop along the way. You've got to stop expecting life to be fair. You've got to stop looking for easy. Instead, start looking for the strength inside you that can face anything, fair or not, and still keep moving forward. Because that's what separates those who succeed from those who give up. They don't let the injustice of the moment define their outcome. They don't wait for life to give them a break. They take what life gives them and make it work. So when life knocks you down, and it will, don't spend your time asking, why me? Ask yourself, what now? What are you going to do about it? How are you going to respond? Because your response is the only thing you have control over. That's your power. That's your strength. Embracing the unfairness of life isn't about liking it. It's not about pretending it doesn't sting. It's about deciding that no matter how unfair life gets, it won't stop you. It's about realizing that while you can't control the hand you're dealt, you absolutely control how you play it. In the end, it's not the fairness of the world that determines your success. It's your resilience, your grit, and your refusal to quit, even when the odds are stacked against you. So stop waiting for life to treat you fairly. Instead, rise up every day with the mindset that you'll make it, no matter what life throws at you. You've got to stop living your life for other people. That's the hard truth. Too many of us spend our days trying to make everyone else happy, trying to fit into their expectations, trying to avoid conflict. But here's the problem with that. When you live your life trying to please others, you forget to live for yourself. You lose sight of your own goals, your own dreams, and what truly makes you happy. People pleasing is a trap. And if you're not careful, it will rob you of your purpose. The truth is, not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to agree with your decisions, your lifestyle, or your values. And that's okay. Trying to please everyone is a losing game, because people are unpredictable. They'll change their minds, shift their opinions, and what made them happy yesterday might not work tomorrow. You can't control how others feel about you, but you can control how you live your life. And living your life on your terms, that's where real freedom comes from. When you try to please everyone, you end up stretching yourself too thin. You say yes to things you don't really want to do. You compromise on what's important to you, and you end up living someone else's life instead of your own. Every time you put other people's needs above your own, you're sacrificing a piece of yourself. That's no way to live. You've got to learn to say no, even when it's uncomfortable, even when people don't like it. Saying no doesn't make you a bad person, it makes you a strong one. People pleasing is rooted in fear. The fear of rejection, the fear of being judged, the fear of not being liked. But here's something to remember: no matter what you do, you will never be enough for the wrong people. It doesn't matter how much you give, how much you bend, how much you try to make things easier for them. Some people will always find something to criticize, something to complain about. So why keep chasing their approval? Why keep giving them the power to dictate how you live? You have to get comfortable with the idea that not everyone is going to be on your side. And that's fine. The people who truly care about you, the ones who really matter, will respect your boundaries. They'll understand when you have to put yourself first. And those who don't, they were never for you in the first place. It's better to walk away from relationships that drain you than to stay in them just to keep the peace. Let me tell you something: when you stop living for other people, when you stop worrying about what they think, you start to find out who you really are. You start to get in touch with what you really want out of life. You gain clarity, your vision gets sharper. Suddenly, you're no longer making decisions based on other people's expectations, but based on your own desires and values. And that's where real growth begins. That's when you start walking in your own truth, and that's when you start to thrive. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore the people in your life or never be considerate of others, but there's a balance. You can't give so much of yourself away that there's nothing left for you. You have to protect your energy, your time, your peace. If you spend all your time trying to please others, you'll end up resentful, frustrated, and unfulfilled. And the worst part, no matter how much you give, it'll never be enough for some people. So why not focus on pleasing the one person who really matters, yourself? Life is too short to live for the approval of others. If you're constantly chasing validation, you'll never feel good enough, no matter how hard you try. But when you learn to validate yourself, to trust your own decisions, to stand firm in your own beliefs, that's when you find real power. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need to like yourself. When you stop worrying about what others think, you become unstoppable. You start to live boldly, confidently, and unapologetically. So stop being a people pleaser. You weren't put here to live up to someone else's expectations. You were put here to fulfill your own destiny. Don't waste another minute trying to make everyone happy. Instead, focus on what makes you happy. Focus on what brings you peace, what ignites your passion, what makes you come alive. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with your decisions. Make sure they're your own. You don't need anyone's permission to live your life. You don't need anyone's approval to chase your dreams. The only person who gets to decide how you live, what you do, and who you become is you. So stop looking outside for validation. Stop giving other people the power to define your worth. You are enough just as you are. And the moment you realize that, you'll be free from the chains of people pleasing. You'll be free to live the life you've always dreamed of on your own terms and with no apologies. Success doesn't come without a cost. You want the prize, but are you willing to pay the price? That's the question. Too many people talk about their dreams, their goals, and their ambitions, but when it comes time to sacrifice, they hesitate. They want success to be easy, comfortable, convenient, but it's not. Success requires sacrifice, and the sooner you understand that, the sooner you realize what it takes to actually achieve it. Sacrifice means giving up something today so you can have something better tomorrow. It's choosing long-term gain over short-term pleasure. It's waking up early when everyone else is sleeping in. It's staying focused when distractions are pulling at you from every angle. It's missing out on parties, turning down invites, and sometimes walking away from relationships that aren't in alignment with your vision. It's hard. It's uncomfortable. But that's what separates the successful from everyone else. They're willing to make the tough choices that most people avoid. You've got to ask yourself, how bad do you want it? Because if you're serious about your goals, you're going to have to give up something. It could be your time, your comfort, your social life, or even some of your old habits. You can't do everything and expect to achieve greatness. If you're chasing success, something's got to give. You can't have it all. Not if you want to win at the highest level. The real question is, are you willing to pay the price? Most people aren't. They like the idea of success, but they don't like the reality of what it takes. They want the rewards, but not the grind. They want the applause, but not the struggle. They want the results, but they don't want to put in the work. But that's not how success works. You have to be willing to sacrifice. And not just once, it's a lifestyle. Day in and day out, you have to choose your dreams over distractions, your goals over instant gratification. Sacrifice means staying disciplined when no one is watching. It means putting in the work when no one is around to give you credit. It's easy to stay motivated when people are cheering you on, but when the crowd fades, when the support disappears, that's when the real test begins. Can you keep going even when it feels like you're sacrificing more than you're getting back? That's the question you have to answer. And let's be honest, sacrifice can be lonely. There will be moments when you feel like you're walking this road by yourself, when it seems like no one understands what you're doing or why you're doing it. But that's the price you pay for success. You can't expect everyone to understand your journey. They won't always see your vision. And that's okay. You're not doing this for them. You're doing this for you. Sacrifice also means accepting that some things will have to wait. You can't have everything at once. If you want to be great at something, other areas of your life might take a back seat for a while. You might not have as much time for your hobbies, your social life, or even some of the people you care about. It's tough, but if you're serious about your dreams, you'll understand that this is temporary. The sacrifices you make now will pay off later if you stay committed. You've got to have a long-term perspective. Too many people quit because they don't see immediate results. They make sacrifices for a week, a month, maybe even a year, and when the breakthrough doesn't come right away, they give up. But success doesn't work like that. It's a slow grind, a long game. You have to be willing to sacrifice for as long as it takes. Sometimes that means months, sometimes years. But if you stay the course, the sacrifices will be worth it. The thing is, sacrifice isn't just about giving up what's easy or fun. It's about becoming the person who can handle success. Every time you make a sacrifice, you're building discipline. You're strengthening your will. You're sharpening your focus. And those qualities will serve you when you finally reach the top. Success isn't just about what you achieve, it's about who you become in the process. The sacrifices you make today are shaping you into the person who can handle the rewards of tomorrow. So ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice for success? Are you willing to give up your comfort, your free time, your excuses? Are you willing to go the extra mile when others are coasting? Are you willing to put in the work even when no one is watching? Because that's what it takes. Success demands sacrifice. It's not negotiable. It's the price of admission, and only those who are willing to pay it will make it to the other side. In the end, you have to decide if the sacrifices are worth it. Are you willing to pay the price now for the life you want later? Are you willing to endure discomfort, loneliness, and hardship for the sake of your dreams? If the answer is yes, then keep pushing. Keep sacrificing. Because success is on the other side of that struggle. It's waiting for you. But only if you're willing to sacrifice to get there. Failure is not the enemy. It's the path. It's not something to avoid or be ashamed of. It's something to embrace. Too many people are afraid of failing, so they play it safe. They never take risks, never step outside their comfort zone because they're terrified of what might happen if things don't go as planned. But here's the truth: failure is the foundation of success. You can't reach your full potential without stumbling along the way. Think about it. Every great person you admire, every success story you hear is built on a foundation of failures. The only difference between people who succeed and people who don't is how they handle those failures. Do they see them as final? Do they let them define them? Or do they use them as stepping stones, as lessons, as motivation to keep pushing forward? When you fail, it's easy to feel like you've reached the end of the road. But failure isn't the end, it's a detour, a chance to reassess and come back stronger. You don't fail to stay down, you fail to learn. Failure forces you to confront your weaknesses, to rethink your strategy, to make adjustments. It's a process, not a destination. And the moment you realize that, failure loses its power over you. The problem is, most people are so afraid of failure that they never even try. They let the fear of what might go wrong stop them from ever finding out what could go right. They stay on the sidelines, watching other people live their dreams while they play small and safe. But the reality is, if you're not failing, you're not growing. If you're not falling, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. Growth comes from discomfort, from falling short and figuring out how to rise again. Failure is life's greatest teacher. Every time you fail, you gain experience, wisdom, and insight that you didn't have before. It teaches you what works and what doesn't. It builds resilience. It makes you tougher, sharper, and more determined. But only if you're willing to look at failure the right way. Only if you see it as part of the journey, not the end of the road. You have to learn to separate your failures from your identity. Just because you fail doesn't mean you are a failure. It means you're human. It means you're trying. It means you're willing to take risks that others won't. And that's where the magic happens. Success doesn't come from never falling down. It comes from getting back up every time you do. One of the biggest mistakes people make is equating failure with inadequacy. They think if they fail, it means they're not good enough, not smart enough, not talented enough. But that's a lie. Failure doesn't reflect your worth, it reflects your effort. It shows you were brave enough to try, to put yourself out there, to go after something bigger than yourself. And that takes courage, far more courage than sitting on the sidelines, afraid to take a shot. The real power of failure lies in what you do next. Do you quit? Do you shrink back? Or do you take the lesson, dust yourself off, and get back in the game? That's the decision that defines whether failure becomes a stepping stone or a stumbling block. The people who succeed are the ones who use failure as fuel. They learn from it, grow from it, and come back even stronger. When you look at failure through this lens, it stops being something to fear. It becomes something to welcome. Because with each failure, you're one step closer to where you want to be. You're refining your craft, honing your skills, and building the mental toughness that success requires. The road to success is paved with failures, and the more you fail, the more you learn, and the more you grow. Don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid of not trying. Be afraid of living your life in a box, of playing it safe, of never knowing what could have been, because you were too scared to take a shot. Failure is a part of success, not the opposite of it. The more comfortable you get with failing, the more fearless you become in your pursuit of greatness. And here's the thing, failure is temporary. It feels overwhelming in the moment, but it doesn't last forever. The sting fades, the disappointment passes, and what's left is the lesson. What's left is the strength you gain from pushing through. What's left is the wisdom you can take into your next challenge, your next opportunity. Failure is fleeting, but the growth it brings is permanent. So embrace failure. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Learn from it. Use it. Every time you fail, you're being given a gift, a chance to become better, smarter, and more prepared for the next challenge. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about how many times you get back up. Success isn't a straight line. It's a series of ups and downs, of failures and recoveries, of lessons and triumphs. At the end of the day, failure is inevitable. You're going to fall short at some point. But that's not the question. The question is, what are you going to do when it happens? Are you going to let it define you? Or are you going to use it as a stepping stone to something greater? The choice is yours. Failure is not the end, it's the beginning of something better if you have the courage to see it that way. Time is your most valuable resource, more valuable than money. You can always make more money, but once time is gone, it's gone forever. The problem is most people don't see it that way. They waste hours, days, even years thinking they have time to spare. But if you want to be successful, if you want to achieve something great, you've got to start valuing your time like you value your money. Every minute counts, and how you choose to spend those minutes is what separates the dreamers from the doers. Think of your time like a bank account. Every day you're given 24 hours. That's 1,440 minutes. How you spend that time determines whether you're getting richer in life or going broke. Just like with money, if you're careless with how you spend your time, you'll end up with nothing to show for it. But if you invest your time wisely, the return is enormous. The return is success, growth, and the achievement of your goals. Too many people treat time like it's unlimited. They procrastinate, put off their dreams, and fill their days with distractions. They say, I'll do it tomorrow, or I'll get to it later. But later never comes, and they end up living lives full of regret because they wasted the one thing they couldn't get back time. The truth is, time doesn't wait for anyone. It keeps moving whether you're ready or not. And if you're not careful, it will slip through your fingers before you even realize it. When you value your time like money, you stop wasting it on things that don't matter. You stop spending hours scrolling through social media, binge watching TV shows, or engaging in conversations that go nowhere. You become intentional about how you use your time because you understand that every minute wasted is a minute you could have spent building your future. Here's the thing, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day. The difference between successful people and everyone else isn't that they have more time, it's that they use their time differently. They prioritize. They focus. They eliminate distractions. They treat their time like an investment, only putting it into things that will give them a return. They don't waste time on things that don't align with their goals, their purpose, or their vision. You've got to ask yourself, how am I spending my time? Are you investing it in things that are moving you closer to your dreams, or are you wasting it on things that are pulling you further away? Are you filling your days with productive actions, or are you filling them with excuses? If you're serious about success, you've got to start treating your time like it's gold. Because it is. One of the keys to valuing your time is learning to say no too often. People say yes to everything because they don't want to disappoint others or miss out. But here's the truth. Every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you're saying no to something that does. You're giving away your most precious resource to things that don't serve your goals. You've got to protect your time like you protect your money. Be selective about where you spend it, and don't be afraid to say no to anything that doesn't add value to your life. When you value your time, you also start to value yourself. You understand that your time is a reflection of your priorities, and if you're wasting time, you're wasting your potential. Successful people don't just manage their time, they maximize it. So they know that every hour spent working on their dreams is an hour closer to making those dreams a reality. They don't waste time wishing for success, they work for it. 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. Here's another thing to remember: how you spend your time shapes your future. Every decision you make today, how you spend your hours, what you focus on, determines the life you'll have tomorrow. If you're wasting time now, you'll pay the price later. But if you're investing your time wisely, your future self will thank you. The small decisions that you make every day add up over time, and before you know it, those small investments of time will turn into big results. You've got to start treating your time with the respect it deserves. You wouldn't throw away money, so why would you throw away time? Every minute is an opportunity to move closer to your goals, to learn something new, to build something meaningful. Don't take it for granted. Don't waste it on things that don't matter. Be intentional, be disciplined, and most importantly, be protective of your time, because no one else will do it for you. At the end of the day, time is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Everyone has dreams, but not everyone is willing to put in the time to make those dreams a reality. The people who succeed are the ones who understand the value of time. They don't waste it. They don't wait for the perfect moment. They use every second they have to move forward, to grow, to improve. So stop wasting time. Stop waiting for things to happen. Stop thinking you have all the time in the world. You don't. None of us do. If you want to be successful, if you want to live a life of purpose, you've got to start valuing your time like you value your money. Because the truth is, time is far more precious than money. Spend it wisely, and the return will be greater than anything money could ever buy. Stepping out of your comfort zone is where growth begins. It's easy to stay in the familiar, to cling to the routines that make you feel safe and secure. But let's be honest, nothing remarkable ever happened in the comfort zone. It's a nice place to visit, but nothing ever grows there. If you want to achieve greatness, if you want to be extraordinary, you have to be willing to step into the unknown, to embrace discomfort, and to take risks. Now, I know what you might be thinking, but why would I want to leave my comfort zone? It feels safe there, and I get it. It's comfortable to do the same things day in and day out, to surround yourself with familiar faces and situations. But that comfort comes at a cost. It limits your potential and keeps you from realizing what you're truly capable of. If you want to unlock your greatness, you have to challenge yourself. You have to push the boundaries of what feels comfortable and step into the realm of possibility. When you step outside of your comfort zone, you expose yourself to new experiences. You learn new skills, meet new people, and discover strengths you didn't know you had. Every time you take a leap into the unknown, you expand your horizons and broaden your perspective. You grow in ways you can't even begin to imagine. You begin to see that the world is full of opportunities just waiting for you to seize them. But if you remain in your bubble, you'll never see what lies beyond it. Fear is a natural response to stepping out of your comfort zone. You're going to feel anxious, scared, and uncertain. And that's okay. Fear is not the enemy, it's a part of the journey. Embrace it. Acknowledge it. Use it as fuel to drive you forward. When you feel fear creeping in, that's a sign that you're on the verge of something great. It means you're challenging yourself, pushing your limits, and taking steps toward growth. Don't let that fear paralyze you, let it propel you into action. Remember, the magic happens just outside your comfort zone. That's where the transformation occurs. It's where you find the courage to pursue your dreams, to take risks, and to make bold decisions. The more you practice stepping out of your comfort zone, the easier it becomes. It's like building a muscle. The first time you try something new, It might feel uncomfortable, awkward, even frightening. But the more you do it, the stronger you become. You start to realize that discomfort is not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of growth. Think about the last time you tried something new. Maybe it was speaking in public, taking on a new project at work, or simply introducing yourself to someone new. How did it feel? It was probably a mix of excitement and nervousness. But what happened after you took that step? Chances are you learned something valuable about yourself. You discovered that you could rise to the occasion, that you could face your fears and come out stronger on the other side. That's the power of stepping outside your comfort zone. It's important to remember that growth doesn't come from playing it safe. If you want to be successful, you have to be willing to take risks. You have to be okay with failing, with stumbling, and with making mistakes. Because every failure is a lesson, every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. The people who achieve great things are not the ones who never fail, they are the ones who are willing to take risks and face challenges head on. They understand that each failure brings them one step closer to success. Surround yourself with people who encourage you to step outside your comfort zone. Find those who challenge you to be better, to strive for more, and to embrace the unknown. You need a support system that pushes you to grow, that inspires you to take action, and that celebrates your victories, no matter how small. Because when you have people in your corner who believe in you, you'll find the courage to take those leaps of faith. Stepping out of your comfort zone also means letting go of the need for perfection. Too often, people wait for the perfect moment to take action, but that moment rarely comes. Perfection is an illusion, and waiting for it will only hold you back. Instead, focus on progress. Embrace the journey. Take imperfect action. You don't need to have everything figured out to get started. Just take that first step, and the rest will fall into place. As you continue to challenge yourself, you'll start to see the world differently. You'll become more adaptable, more resilient, and more open to change. Stepping out of your comfort zone fosters creativity and innovation. It helps you see possibilities where you once saw limitations. You'll find that you can tackle challenges with newfound confidence, that you can embrace uncertainty and turn it into opportunity. In the end, it all comes down to this. If you want to live a life of purpose, fulfillment, and success, you have to step out of your comfort zone. It's where the real growth happens. It's where you discover who you are and what you're capable of. Don't let fear hold you back. Embrace the discomfort, take those risks, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. The journey might be challenging, but the rewards are worth it. So go ahead, take that leap of faith and step into the life you were meant to live. Taking responsibility for your life is one of the most powerful decisions you can make. It's easy to blame circumstances, other people, or even fate for where you find yourself. But let's be clear, true growth and success start when you stop pointing fingers and start looking in the mirror. It's time to own your choices, your actions, and your life. No one is coming to save you. It's up to you to take charge and create the life you want. When you take responsibility for your life, you acknowledge that you are the architect of your own future. Every decision you make shapes your path. Your choices, your attitudes, and your reactions determine your direction. You have the power to change your circumstances, but that power begins with acceptance. Accept that you are where you are because of the decisions you've made. This isn't about guilt or shame, it's about empowerment. Recognizing that you have control over your life is liberating. Too many people live in a state of victimhood, believing that life happens to them rather than for them. They wait for someone else to come along and change their situation. But here's the truth, you're the only one who can change your story. The moment you decide to take responsibility, you shift from being a passive observer to an active participant in your life. You start to realize that you have the ability to influence your outcomes. Taking responsibility doesn't mean everything will be perfect. It doesn't mean you won't face challenges or setbacks. Life will still throw curveballs your way. But when you take ownership, you also take control over how you respond. You stop making excuses and start finding solutions. Instead of saying, I can't because of, you start saying, what can I do to change this? This shift in mindset is powerful. It transforms obstacles into opportunities for growth. One key aspect of taking responsibility is being accountable for your failures. Everyone fails at some point. It's part of being human. But how you respond to failure defines your character. When you take responsibility, you don't blame others for your mistakes. Instead, you analyze what went wrong, learn from it, and move forward with newfound wisdom. Embrace failure as a teacher rather than a setback. Each failure is a stepping stone towards success, but only if you're willing to learn from it. You've got to stop allowing external circumstances to dictate your emotions. Life is unpredictable, and it's easy to get swept away by negativity. But when you take responsibility, you recognize that your emotions are a choice. You can choose how you react to the things that happen to you. You can choose to maintain a positive attitude even in the face of adversity. This doesn't mean ignoring your feelings. It means acknowledging them and deciding not to let them control your actions. Taking responsibility for your life also means setting clear goals and taking actionable steps toward achieving them. Dreaming is essential, but dreams without action are just fantasies. When you take charge, you create a roadmap for your life. You break down your goals into manageable tasks and hold yourself accountable for completing them. You don't wait for the right moment, you create it. You take proactive steps every day, no matter how small, to move closer to your vision. Surround yourself with people who also take responsibility for their lives. Your environment plays a significant role in shaping your mindset. When you surround yourself with individuals who are committed to their growth and success, it inspires you to do the same. You need a support system that holds you accountable, challenges you to be better, and celebrates your wins, no matter how small. Let's be real, taking responsibility isn't always easy. It can be uncomfortable to confront your shortcomings, to admit when you're wrong, and to acknowledge the role you play in your circumstances. But that discomfort is where the growth happens. It's where you start to understand your strengths and weaknesses. It's where you begin to develop resilience, determination, and grit. You have to be willing to do the work. Taking responsibility means putting in the effort to improve yourself and your situation. It means investing time in personal development, learning new skills, and stepping outside your comfort zone. It's about being disciplined and committed to your goals, even when the going gets tough. This journey requires perseverance, but the rewards are immeasurable. At the end of the day, taking responsibility for your life is about empowerment. It's about recognizing that you hold the keys to your future. No one else can dictate your path, only you can do that. When you take ownership, you stop being a passenger in your life and become the driver. You choose your destination, you set the pace, and you navigate the challenges along the way. So I challenge you, step up. Own your life. Own your choices. Embrace the power of responsibility and watch how it transforms your life. You are capable of achieving greatness, but it all starts with you. Take the reins and don't let anyone or anything hold you back. The life you want is waiting for you, but you've got to take responsibility for making it happen. It's time to rise up, take action, and create the future you deserve. These lessons may be tough to swallow, but they hold the power to transform you. Life will never hand you all the answers, but if you learn these lessons, you'll be better equipped to navigate its challenges and come out stronger on the other side.